quick word on the US sanctions against Uganda because of the country's struggle to control homosexuality, particularly its effects on families and children. Let me first clarify that it is very important that we all come together to stand for human rights and condemn extrajudicial state repression for the betterment of our countries and our people. It is for this reason that I remember advising the proponents of the legislation to first ensure its human rights compliance before tabling the legislation for a vote in Parliament. Furthermore, I also tried to make them aware that the LGBTQ question has many other aspects of concern that we should take the opportunity to discuss so as to come up with a complete package of legislation. For example, Uganda should have a clear legal definition of what marriage is, and also a clear constitutional definition of gender identity. These are all matters that are being heavily debated abroad currently, including in international sports, and therefore Uganda should have used this bill to study them and take an official constitutional position rather than get excited about populism and pass a half-baked law. But putting that aside, the representatives of the people of Uganda in a democratic institution, the parliament of this country, passed an LGBTQ law that is vastly supported by the people of Uganda. And those who do not agree with this legislation have the choice of recourse to the courts of law, as has happened before and is happening again as we speak. So when the US puts sanctions on those behind Uganda's legislation, it is the US government that is leading the way in not only undermining democracy, it is also undermining the sovereignty of the will of the people of Africa, while also undermining the development of the rule of law and the due legal process of the judiciary on the continent, as well as interfering in an independent country's legislative processes. Therefore, their actions are evidence of neocolonial overreach by US President and Secretary of State, and also His Majesty's government in the UK, run by the British Prime Minister. It is also evidence that they are disrespectfully enforcing the LGBTQ agenda around the world in total disregard of their own Judeo-Christian values and our own cultural and religious norms, while annexing for themselves our self-governance institutions. It is clear that for them, LGBTQ supersedes democracy, supersedes the sovereignty of the will of the people of Africa, supersedes the rule of law in Africa, and supersedes justice in Africa, all of which they are attempting to subvert. This actually makes them candidates for overseas visa restrictions themselves, given the excuses they used for the sanctions. We should therefore respond before a global forum and table our concerns regarding the heinous abuse of sanctions as a tool for US authoritarianism over the global south. This is a key issue that should be on the agenda in the upcoming Non-Aligned Movement Summit of the Global South in Uganda in January, where we have the opportunity to discuss the economic security of member states in light of the unprecedented and dangerous use of sanctions in the last 3 years against several countries around the world, and how we should come together to create independent and secure supply chains and financial infrastructure for the economic security of the peoples of the global south. We should also look into tabling this matter before the International Court of Justice and before a federal court in the US itself. Thank you.